on all the time.
So just carrying on with Fred Gidelli all day long, right? Only kidding. 2nd and 5. Fred is the greatest. Here's Falk. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Rams Star Trek. How the guy's been doing. Of course, Bulger's out of the game. So Martin has come in, and look at that. 10 out of 11 is Jamie off the bench. Steven Jackson with an average of close to 6 yards a carry. Torrey Holt had 1 big reception and 5 small ones to this point for 70 yards.
Torrey Holt wasn't even sure if he was going to play tonight. In fact, just the other day, he was saying his right knee's about 60%.
So they're minus their coach, they're minus their quarterback, and Holt is 60%. And they have the lead. You've got a flag here before the snap.
It's Orlando Pace and Dwight Freeney.
76 after minutes. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
And from a 3rd and 1 to a 3rd and 6. Tony Parker is here tonight with San Antonio Spurs. Look at this. Tim Duncan is there as well. A couple of the Spurs have come to Indianapolis, and they're used to being in this town and taking on the Indiana Pacers. World champion San Antonio Spurs, who figure to be as good as ever this season. They did nothing but improve themselves in the offseason.
How do we have graphics for these guys? How do we know they're going to be here? Is that an old NBA graphic?
The old we just carry the NBA. I have them in my suitcase. Here's Martin throwing, and that's caught by Falk, and Marshall still showing some of those deft moves that he exhibited at San Diego State, then here with Indianapolis for 5 years, and then scintillating second half of his career with St. Louis.
So we saw Orlando Pace jump off sides the play before, but watch him here again on Dwight Freeney. I mean, the thing that he's doing is he's getting off with Freeney, and then he's getting his hands on him. And Marshall Falk can still make these kinds of moves, can he?
Falk's in spot duty right now because Jackson is the man, but there are the numbers for his career in terms of receiving. Steven Jackson now. 1-yard gain. Well, John, we saw Tony Parker. We saw Tim Duncan. I heard that Robert Ory was supposed to be here as well, but I guess he doesn't show up until the last 2 minutes.
Someone said they saw him at halftime. I heard someone say that Robert Ory was here.
Well, they play
they can kick one out to him at the end of the game.
That's what I'm saying. He'll show up at the 2-minute warning and win the game for you.
There's Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach, talking to Peyton Manning, and I think they were the two that started the argument.
2nd down and 9 from the 31-yard line. Under 7 to play in the 3rd. Martin over the middle, and that is caught by Cam Cleland, the tight end, recently activated. He'd been hurt. Martin has now completed 11 passes in a row, and that will be enough to move the chains right on the 40-yard line and a 1st down.
Dwight Freeney's trying every kind of spin that he can against Orlando Pace. Here he tries to spin the other way and go inside, and in doing so, he runs right into the left guard, Claude Terrell.
From the 40-yard line now. Action. Jackson will lose the football. Colts have it. Harper has it. Big turnover. And a flag. Dwight Freeney is the guy who came in with Jackson carrying it, and I think it was Freeney who created this.
And it was another spin by Freeney. You know, he's been trying that spin, and he's been frustrated because Orlando Pace has been there all night. I think that one was on the tight end, Monomaluna. And he's going to spin on him, and he's going to spin right into the ball carrier. Watch him here. There's Maliuna trying to block him, you see, and then once he spins, he gets to the inside and just knocks that ball out of Steven Jackson's arm.
Now the penalty call.
The line judge, as he's moving down the side of the field, ran in and was knocked down, but we're not sure if it was a player or if it might have been a ball boy. Therefore, there's no foul. Indianapolis's ball, 1st and 10.
So the line judge got knocked down and the flag came out and there's no foul. Fumble stands. Indy has it. 6 minutes to go in the third. 3-point game.
The NFL is the world's top league of American football. Here's the breakdown. There are 32 teams divided into 2 conferences, the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. Within each conference lies 4 divisions. Each team plays 16 regular season games. Let's use the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots from the AFC East as an example. They play each team in their division twice. That's 6 games. 4 games are against a pre-selected division of their conference. 4 against a pre-selected division of the opposing conference. And the remainder against teams in their conference in other divisions that came in the same place as them. For example, since the Patriots came in first in the AFC East division, they'll play the first place teams from the other AFC divisions. In each conference, the 4 division winners advance to the playoffs. In addition, the 2 teams with the next best records from each conference advance to the postseason as wild cards. The champions of each conference meet in the Super Bowl.
The legend. Steven Jackson's fumble created by Freeney, recovered by Harper. And we'll go back to the tripping of the line judge, who accidentally gets tripped, I think, by Sean McDonald. Threw the flag. That's why Jerry Austin announced they weren't sure whether it was a ball boy or a player, but there's no foul. And now Indy has it at the 35-yard line on first down. And Manning will throw it to James, but throw it low. Peyton Manning is mic'd up. Have a listen.
Sure. Tony mentioned you all about trying to spot the ball as quickly as, as you can. We're going no huddle.
He didn't say anything.
Okay. And it's like, I mean, obviously, it's, y'all got to do your deal, but it's kind of like, it's an up tempo for us. I told him about spotting the ball, so stay on him.
You're right. He's into every part of the game.
I know he's talking to every official when they have a huddle. He's right in the middle of it. And you can never say that Peyton Manning isn't in the game.
Completely prepared. Corey Ivy is an injured Ram right now, and he's down at the 50-yard line. So there's an injury timeout here. It'll be 2nd and 10 when we come back as they work on Ivy. Lewis up by 3. Corey Ivy, I think, just cramped up, and he went back to the locker room. Ivy going back for an IV. I couldn't help myself.
No, I know he's going in for an IV, but he's probably played more than he has because, again, the Rams have been in nickel all night because the Colts have been in 3 wide receivers. So Corey Ivy has played a lot more tonight than he's usual.
And Terry Fair comes in to take his spot, and that ball was caught at the 32-yard line for a very short gain for Edgerrin James.
One of the other things that Peyton Manning did, he said, hey, if you have a chance, he told Edgerrin James, if you have a chance, to be sure and chip on 91. And that's Leonard Little, playing over here, the guy that, if he's feeling any pressure, it's from that side.
Little and Manning, teammates at the University of Tennessee in the 90s. Third down and 7. Manning finds room and then winds up hitting Stokely. So Peyton Manning with those little mincing steps to avoid getting sacked, and Terry Fair with the coverage on the play and a big first down here.
Again, it's because the middle of the pocket was secure, so Peyton Manning could step up. Here you'll see we talk about 3 wide receivers. The Colts have been doing that all night. That's Brendan Stokely, and he's the inside receiver, or he's the slot receiver, right or left.
Now from the 19-yard line, they're going to give it to James, who's going to bring it back to the left side. Look for a gain of a yard, maybe 2. DeJuan Gross makes the stop.
Tyoka Jackson was talking the other day about Edgerrin James, and He says the way he runs now, he looks like he's on skis. And he does. You know, he doesn't bring his feet out of the ground very high. I mean, he just kind of slides along. And as I said earlier, he's running with a lot more power now than moves.
Sometimes downhill, sometimes slalom. 2nd down and 9 at the 18-yard line. Here's James. He turns in his own little Dwight Freeney spin move there to the 13-yard line. Edgerrin James, remember the Marshall Faulk trade precipitated by the fact they were going to draft James, make him the guy. And take a look at this. More than half of the games in which he has played, he's rushed for 100 yards. So Barry Sanders would be in that category. Jim Brown would be in that category. And that, of course, tells you about the company that James keeps.
Tony Dungy thinks he's going to gain over 1,700 yards this year.
On a pace for it. 3rd down and 4 from the shotgun. Manning throwing. That's going to be a 1st down as Stokely gets inside Fair. So Terry Fair playing because Corey Ivy had to come out of the game. And they've gone that way twice. And now you've got Leonard Little, who's had a bad back, who is still down on the ground at the 22-yard line. So the Rams, at least for the moment, temporarily without another starter. Injury timeout.
He cramped.
Yeah. Hurricane Katrina has ravaged Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama, places that we call home. Hundreds of thousands of people have been affected,
including our own family and friends. The road to recovery will be long and hard.
But we can all join together to help these communities rebuild.
Donate to the American Red Cross. Don't sit on the sidelines. The victims of Hurricane Katrina need our support.
To the south we go next Monday night as the Atlanta Falcons, and that means Michael Vick hosts the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. Leonard Little cramped up. He comes out. It'll be 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Indy, the last time they got down this deep, had to settle for a field goal. Not this time. Edgerrin James for the touchdown. Derek Glenn helped to pave the way, and for the first time in the game, the Colts have the lead.
And Tariq Glenn makes a good block on Hargrove. Edgerrin James is able to bounce to the outside, and once he hit that 10-yard line, did he explode.
Mike Vanderjagt for the point after here, and with 3:16 remaining in the 3rd. The Colts capitalize on the Steven Jackson fumble and go 35 yards in 7 plays and now lead 24-20.
But he's going to get a pretty good block right here from Tariq Glenn. But watch when he gets to the outside and he hits the 10-yard line right there. Well, the 5-yard line it was. I mean, the 5-yard line, he goes boom and takes off. A nice cut there, a nice cut. That's a jump cut back to the outside, and then the explosion from the 5-yard line in. Whew. That was pretty. Said he's running with more power and less moves. He had some moves on that one.
Edgerrin James, power, speed, as you say, running more and more like a skier. Meanwhile, Manning is mic'd up.
Whoa. Whoa. Hey, they're playing pass all day. Let's just keep running that ball. Hey, just got to keep it in positive, right? 2nd 3, 1st down. Don't be afraid to help on 91 every now and then on a chip. Think you can club them and get inside here on the Soul Train? You think you can, give them, think that might spin them?
A word for everybody.
That's right. He goes up and down the line. That was there with his offensive lineman. And when he said, we can run on him. We have to run. His center right there, Jeff Saturday, said, yeah. Offensive linemen all over it. Every high school, college, pro, they all love to run.
Dave Rayner, the kickoff specialist, to the goal line. Chris Johnson. And Chris Johnson can only bring it back to the 12-yard line. And so the Colts, who were at one point down 17-0, now up 24-20. We talked about the trade when Faulk went to the Rams And Edgerrin James came here, was drafted, and take a look at the numbers put up by each through those years. And again, that's the type of deal that you could say helped everybody, because Indy got a couple of draft choices. They were able to draft James. Falk goes to St. Louis and has had a Hall of Fame career. Napoleon was the man behind it on the India. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. And that is intercepted by Cato June. His second pick of the game. Cato June is taken down to the 15-yard line. His 5th interception of the season, and that linebacker leads the league in picks.
You know, when you play that cover 2 and you're going to run your middle linebacker deep, this linebacker here has to squeeze. He's a right linebacker right here. You see, he goes back, and then he just comes in. And they have to jump that middle, because the middle guy runs back, and then they squeeze it with the outside guy. That's what Derek Brooks does at Tampa, and that's what Cato June does in Indianapolis.
Cato June, what a 9-day period for him. He had 2 interceptions in San Francisco last Sunday. Over the last 8 days, that's 4 picks now. 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. The play clock all the way down, and Manning has to take a timeout. So Peyton doing a lot of directing of traffic and then runs out of time. Lose 150 calories just calling the play. And for the Rams, well, you start with your coach, who has a bacterial infection of a heart valve, so he's on the shelf at least for a few weeks. You lose your quarterback. You've got Isaac Bruce, who can't even suit up for the 3rd week in a row. You got Torrey Holt playing at 60%. You got Leonard Little with cramps. You got Corey Ivy coming out of the game with cramps. There's Isaac Bruce right there. So the Rams come in a valiant effort, at least at the beginning and even through this point in the game, but it's an attrition thing now. First and 10 at the 15 after the timeout. Middle screen. Edgerrin James. That's the slalom route he takes there for the 6-yard line, gain of 9.
Well, you know, we talked about Steven Jackson and how he was running with power and finishing his runs off. Edgerrin James sure does the same thing, doesn't he? I mean, they get low and then they just kind of explode at the end.
James takes himself out. Dominic Rhodes comes in, number 33. Second in the short 2, and they'll give it to Rhodes. And he gets taken down by Ryan Pickett. Big defensive stand coming up here for the Rams to try to keep it a 1-possession game. In the meantime, Marvin Harrison, kind of the forgotten figure tonight, the lonesome end.
Well, you know, he's out there and they're doubling him every time, and he has a signal I've seen where he would look in at Peyton Manning and just put his hands down like, hey, there's nothing, I don't have anything here, and he hasn't been running the pattern, and tell him Peyton go someplace else.
3rd and 1. To the ground. Rhodes. And that road leads to the 2-yard line on the 1st and goal.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking about. And that's the thing that the Peyton Manning will do, because he's very unselfish. That it's not there. The pass isn't there. They're going to keep those safeties up over the top. They're not going to give them the pass. They're not going to let them get slant. But in doing that and taking that away, they're giving them the run. So whether it's Rhodes or it's Edgerrin James, he's just taking it.
And James tonight 131 yards rushing. Indy with 137 on the ground and 147 in the air. So they're giving him the rush. They're taking advantage of it. And Rhodes cannot get into the end zone. The Rams stiffen. That's Damian Lewis with the tackle. Final minute of the period.
This is when you like to have Edgerrin James in there, because Dominic Rhodes cut that off a little short. That stretch play has to go out to the numbers, and you make your decision when you get to the numbers. He made his decision before he got to the numbers. Watch it here. You see, he doesn't get out all the way to the numbers. He gets there, and he makes his cut before he gets to the numbers. They want to stretch that play more.
They get another ram down. That's Damian Lewis. And again, that's a cramp. The way they're treating it. So you've had Corey Ivy, you've had Little, and Lewis.
Yeah, haven't you noticed? And again, the Rams play indoors too, but indoor stadiums tend to dehydrate you.
They especially when the crowd is in, despite the air conditioning, for a long period of time, and the game 2.5 hours old. It's warm. Are you warm, Sam?
Actually, I'm not, but I have warmed up throughout the game. When I first walked in here, Al, I had the goosebumps. So it was pretty cold in here. They like to keep it kind of cool in here, but with the crowd getting into this, it has warmed up a bit, but it's not hot in here, Al.
Yeah, but you wear size 0. I mean, anyone that wears size 0, now these guys like Damian Lewis, he doesn't wear size 0. So if you wear size 0, of course you're not going to be hot.
That's supposed to be my secret, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, size 0 is a bad thing, not a good thing?
It's a great thing.
I'm sorry.
Second down and goal.
Who even knew?
Dominique Rhodes is the running back. And Rhodes can't get in. So Indy having a tough time when they get down inside. It's the third time they've been inside the 10-yard line in their last 3 drives. They had to settle for a field goal. They did get it in the last time. And now it's tough to get it in here on 3rd down and goal.
This is a time, I think, when you have a great back like Edgerrin James, and he has to be in there. I know that they can take himself out, and I know that they need a break, and I know all those things. When you get down in this area, you need your top guy in there.
Change into the field. It's the end of the 3rd. Indianapolis 24, St. Louis 20. Monday Night Football continues after this message from our ABC stations.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. It's the biggest day of racing in America, the fabled Indianapolis 500. Difficult to capture for the most savvy veteran drivers. More difficult for a young 26-year-old gunning for his first checkered flag at the Brickyard at Indianapolis. But Helio Castroneves defied the odds and won the big race, climbed the catch fence, and the legend of Spider-Man was born. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Each NFL team starts a game with 11 players on the field. The game begins with a kickoff, and each squad's special teams unit participates in this play. If the team receiving the kick does not score on that first play and does not turn the ball over upon the play ending, they then begin their first offensive possession. At this time, each team substitutes its players, bringing in their 11 offensive or defensive starters. Typically, each team has 3 separate and unique 11-man units that make up the team. The special teams, the offense, and the defense. The total roster size in the NFL is limited to 45 players. Substitutions are limitless and allowed during a stoppage in play.
After the game, your late local news on ABC. ESPN has SportsCenter, all the day's sports news and highlights. As we start the 4th quarter in Indianapolis, Al Michaels with John Madden and Sam Ryan. Edgerrin James has been out for several plays now, and they're going to actually look at him now. He's going to get up on the bench because it looked like he was limping a little. You got Harrison out of the game here on 3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line.
I would think, because they're in goal line offense here, and I would think if Edgerrin James were in there, I'd run it. The fact that he's not, I would probably play action pass here.
Dominique Rhodes is the running back. They give it to him, and that's the road to the end zone. Touchdown. Rams didn't make it easy, but the Colts get it in after the turnover. Five runs, 1 pass from 14 yards out after the Cato June pick, and they're 1 point away from an 11-point lead. Mike Vanderjagt. 2 seconds into the fourth.
It all starts with the center, Jeff Saturday, and then the right side of that line just caves the Rams in. Watch it right here and right here and right here, and that's where Dominic Rhodes is going to run. You see, they just cave everything into here, and then he's able to get outside of it. That is really a cave job. Watch it. Kick out, and cave.
Indy's controlled the ball from the middle part of the first quarter. The Rams ran the first 11 plays of the game. But since then, the Rams have run 27 plays, and the Colts have run 59 plays.
And the Rams, the last 2 series, they've had turnovers too. So that's the thing that, instead of you getting plays, you gave the ball back to them, and then they got more plays. And with an offense like this, and the thing that impresses me about the Colts is, to me, it's still about Peyton Manning and it's about Marvin Harrison. But if you're going to take that away, that offensive line is now good enough, and their running game is good enough to beat them.
We saw Marty's brother, Kurt Schottenheimer, the secondary coach, talking to his group as this kickoff is angled and is fielded by Chris Johnson at the 6-yard line to the 20-yard line. John, I had no idea that.
Now you're watching Monday Night Football on ESPN, and we get a look at the Madden Cruiser getting out there on the Brickyard, Indianapolis 500 Speedway. I wonder how fast that was going. The Madden Cruiser getting around the track.
Indianapolis 500. Okay, let's do it.
You have to do it.
I'm surprised they let us in.
Steven Jackson. You want good publicity. What you do next year is you hire Danica Patrick to drive the Madden Cruiser in the Indy 500.
Now that would be a real upgrade.
That would be. Willie and Joe just left without you.
Yeah.
2nd and 10 now at the 20-yard line.
This is when this defense of the Colts get good, because that speed that Tony Dungy was talking about, they really do react and gang tackle well.
Here's Jackson. And that Colt defense at the top of its game right now. Bob Sanders, picked in the 2nd round last year out of the University of Iowa, to upgrade that secondary with a tackle.
And when Tony Dungy was talking about we want more speed and toughness, that was one of the guys he was talking about, is Bob Sanders. He said he gives them toughness in that secondary, he and Mike Dawes. And their #1 draft choice, Marlon Jackson, too. So those 3 guys are 3 tough guys in their secondary.
3rd down and 9. And it's so loud that you've got a flag and you've got a false start against St. Louis.
The Colts in the first quarter, they allowed 17 points, and then since that time they've only allowed 3. So I think when they came in here, I think the Rams with their pace, with their offense, with their speed, I think shocked them a little. And then I think they finally settled in and figured out what the Rams are doing.
That plus the attrition of the Rams, losing Bolger, defensive guys clamping. Rams are going to take a timeout. 3rd down and 14, taking a timeout because this one is getting away from them. Indy by 11. Tatum Bell. Couple of blockers, got a first down and a lot more. Race down the sideline. Tatum Bell goes in. Touchdown.
Handoff, Bryson, first down, and Suggs. Watch out. He's got Dion on his heels. Can the old guy track him down? Nope. Touchdown, Detroit.
That's incredible. John Daly off a tight lie. He didn't go even for the low spinner there, and that's just amazing. 110 yards. Is this his wheelhouse? Yes, it is.
Eagles 2, Garcia tied for the lead.
It's unbelievable.
The Indy defense great here in the second half. The turnovers right now, they have the Rams pinned in a 3rd and 14 situation. Rams compelled to use a timeout to regather.
This is when football's fun if you're a Colt defensive player.
3rd and 14. 4-man rush. They get to Martin. The arm is coming forward. There's no flag. And the Rams come up with the football back at the 2-yard line.
We've been watching Dwight Freeney spin all night, and he spun again.
And Robert Mathis comes in there to create that back at the 2-yard line.
Watch, here's Freeney there. You see, he just spins, and boom, right there. But as you said, Mathis beat him to it. Mathis is speeding from the other side, Freeney from one side, and they just sandwich Jamie Martin.
Not a good sandwich to be in if you're the quarterback. Freeney and Mathis. They've been doing that a good part of the season. Brian Barker to punt. Line drive kick, good deep kick. Troy Walters at the 43, but the kick was too low, and it sets up a pretty good run back as Walters brings it back to the 38-yard line. Let's go back and take a look at the lineage.
Take a look at your all-time touchdown duos. The first one, Todd Hudson at one end, and then with Cecil Isabel on the other. Billy Wilson, Y.A. Tittle for the 49ers had 41. How about Johnny U and Raymond Berry? 63 touchdown hookups. Dan Marino and Mark Clayton with 79. And then in 98, Steve Young and Jerry Rice set the mark of 85. That's where we sit right now with Manning and Harris.
And Manning. So sooner or later, the scout hopes sooner, they'll get to 86, and they will be the record holder. James, 2-yard loss. What was amazing about that, our man Steve Hurt came up with that back in 1990. And remember, everybody thought, well, if Marino has it, it was Mark Duper. You had thought at that point Duper was thought of as maybe, I don't know, the Marx brothers, but you thought of Duper maybe before Clayton. It was Clayton who had the record.
And how about if you thought Jerry Rice was part of it, you would think Joe Montana would be the other part of it.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 11. Manning throws, and that's caught by Brandon Stokely at the 23-yard line. Stokely having a nice night. 4 grabs, 38 yards, and there it is. The 2 tandems on top. Marino Clayton, Kelly and Reed at 65 would be 4th. And then Unitas and Berry of the Baltimore Colts. Montana and Rice at 55.
Right, and Steve Young said that he never thought that would be broken the way football is today with free agency and all that, that a quarterback, a great quarterback and a great wide receiver would never play together long enough.
Well, Manning now in his 8th year. Harrison has been here for 10. James going to cut it back, take it inside the 20 and go to the 19-yard line.
And that's the way you run the stretch play. If someone's watching and say, you know, I'm a high school kid, I want to learn how to run the stretch play, we're running it, just watch that last play. You just take off and you just run right to the numbers, and then when you get at the numbers on the field, then you make your decision. Watch it, here he is. He's just going to run right at these numbers. Here's the numbers right here. When he gets to that point, he's going to make his decision. He decides that he's going to cut, and then he cuts back. That's a perfect stretch play.
2nd down and 5 from the 18-yard line. Manning throws, and that's Reggie Wayne. A flag is down. Wayne trying to get the first down. Came close. Manning is indicating, I would think, defensive holding, I guess.
We've seen Manning do everything. Yeah. We've seen him coach the receivers. We've seen him coach the back, chip on this guy. We've seen him coach the offensive line. We've seen him, you know, be the head coach talking to the official.
Holding number 24 of the defense. 5 yards.